Hi everyone, I'm Huub Hildenbrand. Thanks for tuning into my channel, Huub Hildenbrand Guitar Academia. Today we have the first lesson of tonal harmony in theory and practice. So we will really go into depth of chords, notes sounding together simultaneously, and this will be quite a long course actually. So this is the first lesson, and let's get right into the endless ocean of music. As always, for these lessons here on Guitar Academia, there is a PDF file you can download. Just go down in the description, there's a link and leads you to the PDF file you can download from my website, guitar-academia.com. Alright, so this is the first lesson, and harmony took actually quite a while to evolve. I mean, like, really the chords we are singing today, they really appeared in the end of Renaissance, beginning of Baroque. There you suddenly have these chords which were named like a major and minor chord and so on. But before they weren't. So it took a long time, and this is also a kind of direction the music in the Western world followed, like Baroque, classic, Romantic period, even jazz. Also we will cover jazz here in this tonal harmony course. And a lot of cultures didn't take that direction, and a lot of cultures actually stayed purely melodic, like the Turkish classical music, the Indian classical music, and a lot of music around the globe is purely melodic. But that doesn't mean that harmony is not implied. That would be a total misconception actually. Harmony is always applied in all music around this globe here, but it's not really not all music is sought as harmonic, as chordal music, so to speak. But wherever you strike a string, and please for this go back to the harmonic lesson we had two lessons for the harmonic series and what overtones are and so on. Wherever you strike a string on this planet, like an E string, certain harmonics are created. The string is not just vibrating in the full length, but in all its partials and all its equal parts, you can say. You can divide the string into 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and so on. So, because these other notes, these harmonics, are also sounding, and especially the low harmonics, like which come first, because they are really the loudest, because this natural law is happening, all music around this globe is related to this harmonic series, and it's actually really quite interesting, because the development of the music in Europe, the Western music, is really like kind of a stepwise progress from one partial to the next, you can say. So at first you just have a melody, you just have one note, you can say. But later on, the first harmonies, they were just in fourths and fifths and octaves, and these are the first partials. And later on, with the fifth partial, there comes the third, the major third, and later on, and the seventh partial, there comes the seventh. So there were seventh chord or four-part chords, four-note chords. So it's really the whole history and progress of Western music is really like a progress through the harmonic series from very simple intervals, like perfect intervals, to more and more dissonant intervals. And it's actually quite logic in a way that I mean, music expresses the feelings of people, and so if you get used to a certain interval, your ear says, okay, this is like played very often. I understand that. You are more open to even include more dissonance, more expression, you can say. And then it took a really long time until the major third came in our harmonies, in our chords, actually. And of course, like a seventh, and then in jazz you have all these different tensions, like sharp 11, 13, flat 9, and so on. This is really and then of course like atonal music, what came later, or like really complicated harmonies, even microtonal harmonies and so on. So this is like really a progress, you can say, from simple to more and more complex. So the ear gets adjusted to the music of now, and then wants to have a bit more tension, or is able to accept a bit more of a tension. And in this lesson, we really go back to the, you can say, to the kind of beginnings of harmony. And in the beginning, you just had notes. I mean, like single notes, or like a melody, whatever. You saw it in different ways. Mostly, of course, melodically, like stepwise motion, because that's what the human voice is easy for the human voice. It's very easy to sing steps and not like big, huge skips or something like that. So most melodies are built in steps. But wherever you play this string, you have these harmonics. And these harmonics, the first four partials, or you can say the first six partials without the fifth partial, gives us the tonal framework. The tonal framework. What is it? The tonal framework. We have an E. And from E to E, it's a perfect unison. Then we have from the first partial E to the second partial E, we have a perfect octave. Then from the second partial to the third partial, E to B, we have a perfect fifth. And then from the third partial to the fourth partial, back to the octave, or the octave of the octave, we have a perfect fourth. And from the fourth partial to the sixth partial, we have again a perfect fifth. So we have B, E, B, E, E. Just two different notes. B or E and B. And you may notice that all these intervals at the beginning of this harmonic series, they are all called perfect. So why are they called perfect? The thing is, with all these four intervals, perfect unison, perfect octave, perfect fifth, and perfect fourth, they just have one version, so to speak. They have just one intonation. So like an octave or like a unison is just the same note again. So if you change one note just a very, very little bit, it's not a unison anymore. And this is something you will not really appreciate. Maybe in Indonesian music, in gamelan music, you have these very fine, you can say, out tunings to give this kind of vibrato chorus kind of effect where you have like that's quite interesting. And the one, I think the higher one is called the female or the male, and the other one the male or female. So they really want these different intonations. But of course, you hear this as a kind of a. It's not really fitting. It's something actually you do not really want. Your ear says, that sounds good. That's in harmony, you can say. That's a perfect unison in harmony. So both frequencies are perfectly the same. Then you have the perfect octave, and the perfect octave also just has only one possibility. It's just the doubling of the frequency. So if you have this perfect octave, and you just make small intonation changes, like you go a bit higher here, it doesn't sound good, or you get a bit lower, not good. So if you're really the doubling of the octave, the notes are really melting together, and that's what really happens especially with the first harmonics. The notes are melting together very much. So it gets like if you play all these notes of the harmonic series together, it sounds as one sound, or one, in a way, one note, you can say. I mean, you do not really hear the single notes in that harmony they are not so obvious. They really melt very much together. Okay, and also the perfect fifths, you have this intonation. Yeah. Actually, in the perfect fifths and in the harmonic series is just a tiny bit higher, 2 cent higher. So remember, half step is 100 cent. So 2 cent is not really very much. So that's also why our tonal system, the 12-tone equal temperament, could evolve, because it needs a perfect fifth, and it should be almost exactly perfect. And the perfect fifth of the harmonic series is called the pure perfect fifths. So it's 2 cents higher, and if I'm doing this, I mean a bit more pressure or a bit more bending, very little bit. So this is a pure perfect fifth. Yeah, you really hear that the two notes are melting together instead of. It's very, very little bit, but you hear there is some kind of a difference. I mean, so our tonal system is a compromise, but you should check out the course on Turkish classical music, because they don't accept this compromise. They have a different tonal system which is really very much more connected to the harmonic series. Okay, so the human ear is not really accepting a detuned or another intonation for a perfect fifths. So this is really like a feature of these perfect intervals. The same goes for perfect fourths. So from the fourth, from the fifth, from the third partial to the fourth partial, yeah, you have this perfect fourth, and when we play it, yeah, also our ear will not allow any more discrepancies in intonation. I mean, if I go a bit higher with a B, or if I go higher with the E, so I have to really have a like a perfect intonation, which actually when you have like a string quartet, they are really adjusting here to the pure perfect fourths. And in the pure perfect fourths, also the B is just a 2 cent higher. So you can say a perfect fifths is 700 cents, so 7 half steps plus 2 cent, and so 702 cent almost. And perfect fourth is like 500 cent minus kind of minus 2 cent. So it's like 498 cent. Yes. And because our ear with these perfect intervals, our ear really detects any impurities of intonation. I think maybe almost all stringed instruments around the globe, which have more than one string, of course, are tuned in unisons, in octaves, in fourths, or in fifths. So, for example, the guitar is mainly tuned in fourths. There's just one major third here, but this major third brings us actually back to the perfect fourths B, E, to have the same E, the same note in the outside strings. You have a double bass, which is also, or a bass, yeah, which is also tuned in fourths. You have this cello and violin and viola, they are tuned in fifths, or mandolin is tuned in fifths. A sarod is tuned in perfect fifths. No, actually, yes, perfect fifths, perfect fourths, and another perfect fourths. So for E, this intonation, this tuning would be E, B, E, A. Okay, so also with some instruments like with the oud, you have also mostly perfect fourths, and you have double strings, which are like the mandolin tuned in perfect unisons. So it's in almost all cases, also with the tar or with the rabab, you have this fourth or fifth interval in tuning. And because, of course, the ear really can tune these intervals very securely. And one very interesting thing about this harmonic series and these intervals, perfect fifth and perfect fourth, that these intervals, there is like a kind of a gravity implied. And what does it mean? The thing is, when I play an E and a B, and I sing the notes, E, B, E, B, E. Sorry for my bad singing. I hear when I sing the B, that it's not quite resolved in a way. So also you can say B doesn't seem to be my home base. But when I go from B, E, when I go back to E, this is like really resting. This is my home base. This is a resting sound. Whereas when I go back to B, I can't really end here. I have to go back to E. So B, E, B, play my low E. Now it's really, I feel that is the end, that is home base, nothing more to say. Of course, we go on with the lesson. The same applies vice versa with the perfect fourths. If I have the perfect fourths, BE, a lot of songs start like that. A lot of German folk songs are really starting like something like that. Perfect fourths, up. And this note is always the tonal center, the tonic, you can also say. The tonic, or in Gregorian chant you say finalis, or in Indian music you say sa, or you say karar or durak. In Turkish music it's always home base. There the tune or the melody, the whole thing is ending. And by just playing this interval of a perfect fourth, it's naturally, it's a law, it's implied that E is my home base and not B, B. It's not the end, it's not finally resolved. B, E, and that's the end. I can't really end on B. B, B. I want to go to E. There's my home base. And this is a natural law. In all music around this globe, this concept is there. Of course, there are variations, and also some variations which go kind of more far from this concept, but as a basis, this concept is there because it's a natural law. So all notes, all the first, you can say the first four notes of the harmonic series, they are forming a tonal framework. And this tonal framework really also gives emphasis that the E, the first partial, or the second or fourth, it's the same note, is the note where all others get attracted to. So also a definition for tonality is one note to which all others gravitate. like a gravitation center, you can say, the center of gravitation, and all other notes are getting attracted to it. And the best and most clear way to form tonality is by playing a perfect fifth or a perfect fourth. Then you are confirming the home base as a tonal center, and the fifth of it as a note which is melting really nicely to the tonic, to the home base, but also has kind of a tension what wants to resolve back to the tonic. And this will be later also the chord which we will form on this perfect fifth will be the dominant. And the dominant chord in a tonal system, in major minor tonality, just has this function to resolve back to the tonic. So this is already implied in the overtone series, in the harmonic series. So it's quite interesting how this progression from simple to complex really is never like putting the simple away. You can speak. It's just a layer, next layer, next layer. So the foundation, the overtones and the harmonic series and the very simple gravitation framework, it's never skipped, you can say, later in history or in the more. Of course, in contemporary and new music, contemporary classical music or like 12-tone music, it's an attempt to destroy harmony, to open something else, to go away from the gravity. But still there, if you play some certain notes together, you immediately there will be tonality implied because of the harmonic series. And what atonal or 12-tone music does is changing always to a different tonality, you can say. So you have just very quick tonality changes, like every interval is in a way creating a certain kind of tonality, but you skip to the next tonal center and the next tonal center, and this way it gives the feeling that there is no tonality, but you can't have an atonal music. It's actually not possible. One thing is also important to notice. Like I said, this principle of the perfect fifth of the first harmonics, harmonic series, partials, is present all over the globe. You find this really everywhere. This concept of the perfect fifth. Very interestingly, also in Indian music, this perfect fifth is called a pa. So sa pa sa. That's the perfect fifth, and the pa is never changed. You don't have any alterations of it. All other notes besides sa, besides the tonic and the pa, the fifths, all other notes are changed, and especially in South Indian classical music, in this Melkarta system, you have like 72 different scales, like all mathematical combinations of certain notes and versions of notes, but still there, the tonic and the fifths, they are not changed. And you have really weird scales, very highly chromatic scales, but this framework, you can say, like tonic, fifth, and of course octave, is not touched, not questioned. And also in Turkish classical music, this perfect fifth is very, very frequently the framework of these pentachords you have. Of course, you have also these tetrachords. This will come very soon here also. You can say with this tonal framework, we have like an A and a B form. The A form is root or tonal center, tonic, fifth, and octave. So this is our A form. This is a tonal framework in, you can say, in the most logical order. Like you have a low tonic, a low home bass, and in the middle are the two versions of a perfect fifth or a perfect fourth up to the tonic. So this is our form A. And then you also have a form B. And the form B is just when you have the tonic in the middle and the fifths outside. So the octave is the perfect fifth here, E and B, and there in the middle is a tonic. And still you have so many Bs, and you have a low B. You hear the E as a tonic. If I stay on the B, I want to go to E. Or down to E. Okay, so we have two forms. E, B, E, perfect fifth, perfect fourth, and perfect fourth, perfect fifth. And they are really coming from the harmonic series. You have the first partial is E, the second partial is the octave, the third partial is the perfect fifth, the fourth partial is the octave of the octave, and then the sixth partial, we skip the fifth, we come to that later, because this is already a new note, a new tone. If we skip it, we come to the sixth partial, and that's a B again. So this is actually, without the fifth partial, this is a harmonic series as a kind of a chord. And this harmonic series gives us these two versions, A and B, of the tonal framework. So let's stop here. I think I talked a lot. Next lesson we will play these different the different possibilities. I mean, we take these E and B into practice and look what we already can with these two notes, also called with a diet, like an interval, E and B. How can we play it? And then it's getting more into practical use, of course. Okay, I hope you like this lesson, and please, if so, subscribe to my channel. And also there's a possibility where you can donate on my website. There is a button where you can donate. My website is guitar-academia.com. So this would be great if you support this work here on this channel. So thanks for watching. My name is Huub Hildenbrand.